G'day, guys. Welcome back to Supercoach Swordplay. Hope that you're all well. Firstly, just want to open up by saying thank you so much to all of you, to the whole of the Supercoach community, for all of your love, support, and well wishes over last week. It means the absolute world to myself, my family, and tell you what, as always, you really help us get through these tough times. Now, actually, if you don't follow me on Twitter/X, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're probably wondering where on earth I've been for the last week because. And I do apologise about this. There's been no stocky, there's been no podcast, there was no Sunday talk back. And obviously this is Thursday and I'm finally getting my round review out. So basically what happened was last Friday night, I'm not sure if this was because I was so excited to see how Spillsy was going to go for Spillsy's VC, or if it was because I just pulled a really nice card from an AFL Select hobby box. And I will put that video out next week or something or other like that. Don't know if it was a bit of overexcitement, but yeah, the heart just started feeling a little bit funny. And before I knew it, in a little bit of panic mode and straight to the hospital. And then before I knew it, past emergency and straight to the cardiac ward. And long story short, had a case of what they call cardiac tamponade, which is some excess fluid around the heart and makes it obviously a little bit harder to pump it properly. Very much layman's terms. This is how it was explained to me, being a simple man. But end story, it's all good now. So out of hospital, back home. I'll be on meds for about 3 months, I think it is. And yeah, on some interesting stuff. But yeah, main thing is A-OK. I've probably just got to take things a little bit easier, I think. That doesn't mean that I'll stop with the content. Back on the horse now, which is awesome. Really looking forward to it. But yeah, all good. Green ticks and thumbs up. But yeah, a little bit of a scary time. But again, thank you so much to anyone that sent a DM, a text, left a voicemail or a comment somewhere. I haven't got to, I reckon, a 10th of them yet, but I'll get to each and every one of them over the weekend. And yeah, it does absolutely mean the world to myself and my family, guys. So thank you very much. But yeah, A-OK now, nothing to worry about. Yeah, everything is all good. Unfortunately, though, with Supercoach, being completely out of it, I did not watch a game. I actually put Max in charge of my Supercoach side. He didn't take the TDK 118 and went with Andy Brayshaw. So Maxi got it right for me this week. Took the Zach Reed loop. So need to give a massive shout out to Max. Absolutely killed it for me. And going right himself. Started with Huey McCluggage, just basically captain him every week. So life is good for Maxi in Supercoach as well. But 22.05 obviously didn't set the world on fire, but not an ultra disaster. And season rank now inside the top 10K, 9,712. Not where I want to be or whatsoever, but the good thing is I'm back on my feet now. Hopefully going to start to think a little bit clearly, and I'm not going to make rash decisions. I'm not going to spend up. I'm going to try to bargain hunt and talk a little bit about my strategy as we go through the video. So that's it for the intro, guys. Again, thank you very much for all the love, all the support. Let's see how the team's looking and then talk about some strategy and some trades. Alrighty, so looking at my defense, absolute shambles this week. And I've also got a defender in the flex position who also really disappointed. We had Zorks for an 82. Shees was the only one that turned up, and he just turned up with a 102. Dale with a 68. Been a nightmare of a pick for me. Roberts with the 79. We had Spillsy with the 89, so one of the better scorers here. O'Connell obviously didn't play. And then we had Zach Reed with the emergency on him with 104. So super stoked about Reed. Trainer with an 80 as well. So look, as a defensive unit as a whole, I'm happy with Zorko. I'm happy with Sheasel. Well, happy enough with Sheasel. Dale, I do regret a little bit, but he's okay. I think he'll have his really good games. Roberts, one that I'm really not sure about at the moment. Now, is bias really affecting him? He may be. I'm super keen to actually move him on this week, but as I said, I think I need to stop being overly aggressive, start to be a little bit more sensible with my strategy, and I may actually look to give him at least one more week. We'll see how we go when we get to my trades, but he definitely is a concern for me. And look, 2 weeks ago, I'm thinking, yeah, D6, pretty comfortable leaving there for the year. All of a sudden, like, I'm super worried that he'll struggle to get to an 85 week upon week. So, yeah, we'll talk about Roberts a little bit later in my trade plans. Bice, you're absolutely loving. You've got to have him on field. I think everyone does. So 89, really comfortable there. And I suppose a good thing about having O'Connell is that he allows me to loop between Trainer and Reed, and that's actually helped me in the last couple of weeks as well to get the better score. So happy with that 104. We keep Trainer and Reed, I think, at least for the next couple, if not longer than that. So yeah, very handy to have at least one of them on the bench for me every week. So as defensive whole, it's okayish. And I'll quickly go down to my flex position because it was the man I bought in last week in Lockie Whitfield and only the 86. So extremely disappointing there, but it's a season-long pick and I'm still really happy to have him on the side. So all right is the defense. We go into the midfield now. Brayshaw's just been a phenomenal starting pick. A 155, had him as captain, was going to captain him last week, but stayed more conservative, went the more conservative way, sorry. But yeah, fantastic pick. If you haven't got him, it is a lot to pay up, but I think you're buying for quality. Personally, I'm not looking to pay up over 600K. I'm looking to get some bargains in, and then as luxuries, maybe get to some of these players. But Brayshaw's a terrific pick. Neil's just been an absolute train wreck of a pick. I'd love to jump on him, but he's just lost too much. I think I just need to ride this out now in my position, and it really, really hurts. I wouldn't even be recommending to jump on Lockie Neil at the moment, even at this really cheap price. I think you just wait him out. I really do. I don't think there's any need to trade him in because you know that he's going to cop those tag games. Look, who knows? They start to go to a McCluggage, an Ashcroft. I don't think so, but I suppose there is a world if McCluggage keeps this sort of form up that maybe they change their way of thinking and try to limit his impact. But yeah, very disappointed with Lockie Neal. Adam Cherry has been fantastic. So 117. Again, he hasn't set the world on fire, but he's doing the job that I absolutely wanted him to do, and that's make a little bit of coin and give me 100 plus average, which he's doing. So 106, all good with me. Clary's just been super disappointing. Now, I know some people probably lose patience with him and look to trade him out, but my advice is hold him for the good run. So I'm going to hold him for his nice fixture. And then if he doesn't perform during that time, then happy enough to let him go. But I'm expecting a couple of big comeback scores from him. So I'm holding the faith for now. But if not, happy to let him go. Marek, 84. So he's doing the job as well, making me some nice coin, as well as getting rookies off field and delivering at least an 80 plus every week for me. So happy there. Really happy with Levi. 90 last week. Stoked with that. Either have him on field in your midfield or as forward. Lindsay, a little bit disappointing. I think his TOG was managed, but once he gets back in the swing of things, he should make some really nice cash. Remember those first two games? Look sublime, really talented player. So yeah, obviously with that injury, lower TOG, low score still in the system. As soon as that is out, he'll start to make money again. So I'm not going to panic on Lindsay. Clay Hall, now I knew he wasn't a must trade in rookie, but I did want to free up some cash for some further moves. So do I regret it? Sort of, but it's all good at the end of the day. Moraes, yeah, I boosted for Moraes, and well, it was either him or Humphrey. So I think I made the right decision. But 42, does he even play this week? Is he going to be sub? Yeah, he's certainly one to potentially move on for me, I think, this week. Kako's been disappointing, but he comes into a pretty nice fixture. Job security is fantastic as well. So I think I'll just hold him at this stage. Henderson, so these are the two blokes that I boosted for, Henderson and Moraes, and it was just such poor use of a boost. Look, he was 99K Henderson. He was coming off a couple of decent enough scores. It looked like it was going to be 150K just like that in a few weeks, but just has not panned out that way. I've cursed this man in a 13 sub last week. He either gets dropped or he's going to start a sub, I think. So I think I'll probably move him on this week. DPP, which is handy, but yeah, very disappointing is Henderson. TDK, does Pito come back? Yeah, potentially, but I'm not going to look to trade him out because I'm hoping that Big Harry may only be a week out. Then he comes back in. So if Pito comes in this week, I'm just hoping and praying that he is out as soon as Harry comes back. So I'm just going to hold the faith for now. 120 for an average when you've got Gorn, I think, averaging around the 110 mark. You've got Sherry that's under 105. And with Sherry, geez, I'm concerned, but we're not getting out of the pick now, are we? It's just super unlucky. You know that he's carrying something. He's nowhere close to 100% fit. If he was, I'd still a big believer that he'd be dominating. So I'm just going to hold out on the rucks as tough as it is. You've got Marshall that's coming up cheap. I know Briggs provides a bit of value. Gorn is what, 80k is he under his starting price. So there is a bit of value in the rucks at the moment, but I still find it very hard to trust a lot of them, to be frank. McRae, Smith, Daniel, all keepers. So 70. McRae slowed up a little bit, but not worried by that. Baz with the 126 is all good. And then Daniel with the 116. So, and quickly going back to the horny man. Look, it's a slight regret trading him out, but at the end of the day, I went Horn Francis and I think it was Campo out, and I brought in Baz and Marek. So I think overall it's still a decent trade. And look, is the horny man going to be top 6? You probably think that he is, but then you've got your Track, your Warner, your Nick Martin as well. So there's a fair bit of competition all of a sudden up forward, when earlier on we'll think it was probably a little bit more obvious who the top 6 were going to be. But all of a sudden now we're just not too sure. Rankin, look, scoring's been a little bit disappointing, but again, I'm not too worried with the pick. I was worried he wasn't even going to play, so the fact that he got up for that was really good. 91, he'll be a lot better than that. So still wrapped, I've got him. Davidson has a good matchup this week, so I'm actually keen to hold if possible, but I do want to bank some coin at the same time, so he's a likely trade-out option. This man, 101. So there are a few people really bagging the pick and saying you got to get out early. But I held the faith, and look, I wasn't expecting 100, but this spike score in the system now, particularly for the next 2 rises, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. So he should get to around 330k, I think. A really nice score again this week somehow. Then he could be pushing up to 350, and all of a sudden he's been a really successful selection for us, Power Pepper. So pretty happy to run him on field, but yeah, we'll see what the mix-up is like this week. Yeah, Hewitt, I'm just going to probably hold him for now. Stone, like, this is just what you're going to get from week to week. The advantage here is his DPP status. And Whitfield, yeah, very disappointing, but maybe it wasn't the ground that suited him. I didn't obviously watch it, so can't comment too much there for Lockie. So we'll definitely get Isaac back on the field and talk about some trades for this week. So, look, I suppose we'll talk about overall strategy. So I'm in a situation where I've used 3 boosts already, and that's a shocking situation to be in. And really, this is a good week to boost, I think. But I don't want to. I'm going to stay disciplined, and I'm only going to make the 2 trades this week. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is double downgrading this week, and then potentially looking to double up next week. 100% at least 1 up next week, but possibly 2 depending on the combination of players that I'm looking to get in. The issue with that is that I'll be 1 downgrade behind lots of coaches, maybe 2 behind the really good teams. And with someone that's sitting close to the top 10k just inside it, I don't know if I've got the luxury to do that. But again, we're only, 5-6 weeks in. So maybe I can, because it is a very long season. Because I've used the 3 boosts, I really want to take a step back. And I think this week is probably the week, if you are going to downgrade, to do it, because we'll take a look soon at some of the other options that we've got that have only played the 1 game that may be available on the bubble the week after. I just don't think there's going to be much there for us. So I really feel the need to probably go 2 rookies this week and then look to do my upgrades. You could get a Dacos in. I think he's going to have a really good game against the Lions. Zach Merritt, super tempting. You've got Nazias looking really good down back. You've got Horn Francis, who I could just say, look, just going to get him in. Maybe I made a mistake there by trading him out. You've got Petrarca, who's around 485k. There are so many options this week, but I think I probably do need to stay disciplined. So if you look at the setup of my team at the moment, let's just say for argument's sake, I get O'Connell to the flex position, just so I can have a look at what my best defense is looking like. So you've got Whitfield, Zorko, Sheasel, really happy there. Then Dale, Roberts, and probably 1 more spot here. Now, Tom Stewart is absolutely in for me next week. Depending on what he does, I know that, but he's right in my plans. So I think what I'll do is, if Roberts does not perform again this week, then it may be just a straight swap. So Roberts for Stewart, all good. Then you've still got that 1 spot available, and that will be for Jack Sinclair or an Isaiah, but I think Jack Sinclair is the man that you definitely want to have there. The other thing is, if Roberts performs really well, then you get Stewart in this spot. I'm not saying for bias, but that's your 6 for a while, and you probably just wait on someone like a Sinclair, and even maybe go to him after his bye. Who knows for Roberts? But I think Jack Sinclair's pretty close to a must-have. Now, is he going to be that good? And are these defenders going to be comparable with some of our top mids that I can even look for Sinclair to be one of these midfield option upgrades here, potentially, and it also opens up some DPP as well. So, yeah, Stewart's a given, and then there's probably Sinclair, and I'm pretty much done, I think, with the defenders. Now, the rucks at the moment, I'd love to just carry these two through to the whole season. And someone in my position probably need to look highly at that, unless this Pito thing becomes something and Sherry just continues to fall off the face of the earth, and I'll have to do something. But ideally want to carry them 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy to carry. So you've basically got 2 spots here. Now, if I go to my watch list, when it comes to the forwards, we've got Nick Martin, who I'm not huge on, but again, he has a pretty nice fixture coming up, I think. Then you've got Petrarca, and then you've got Chad Warner. So all these guys are currently under 500. Warner, huge break even. Petrarca, I say, probably gets around his break even this week. That's just a prediction there. So he'll probably stay the same before coming up against 2 really nice matchups. And then you've got Horn Francis as well on top of those guys. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 blokes for only 2 slots here. So I want a little bit more time to work out who the 2 are going to be. And who knows, there are going to be other players that somehow get forward status as well. So I'm just not sure at the moment. I think it's 2 out of those 4. So that's Horn Francis, Nick Martin, Warner, and Petrarca. It's going to be 2 out of those 4, but I'm not sure who at this stage. Now, Horn Francis has really low break even. I could just get him in this week. But again, I don't want to use the boost, and I actually want to make money this week. And I think this is the week where you get those 2 rookies in. So then we go to our midfield. Now, this is where all the carnage is. You've got Brayshaw. Hallelujah for Andy Brayshaw, because after that, geez, do we drop off? Lockie Neal, I'm probably just going to hold at this stage, but ideally, I'd love to flog him off before the St Kilda game, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. So these 2 got to stay. Shearer, look, worst comes to worst, I think that he could be my M8 for the season. Now, this is not what I want, and it's always been planned to upgrade him, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You may need to do it. Now, if it's not Shearer, it may be Oliver, and I hope that it can be. I think at the moment that we just hold him for now, reassess for this nice fixture, maybe 2-3 weeks, and then make a decision after that. I'm hoping that it can come good, but realistically, you may have only 2 blokes here, 6 spots. That's a lot. And when you look at some of the options here on my watch list, you've got your Butters, who's going to cost a lot. Now, Dacos is at a pretty nice price at the moment, but I don't think he's must-have. Sarong, I'm losing a little bit of faith in, but one of those guys that ultimately you probably want. This is the other one here, Connor Rozee. Now, recently found out that all of a sudden he's playing this half-back role, and that is potentially really, really juicy. What I'm not sure about, though, is the role without kick-ins. If you look at all of my main defenders here, you've got kick-ins, kick-ins, kick-ins. He's had kick-ins. I'm not saying that the major monopoly are playing a bit of a different role forward. Not sure if Bice had any kick-ins or not, but if you look at my premiums there, they're the blokes that are going to get those extra chips through those kick. And again, you look at someone like a Marek as well, who's playing down back. So that's a bit of a concern. But in saying that, I know that he did play some halfback in the juniors and super talented player. And even if he goes back to that midfield, surely the attention's got to be on Zach Butters, potentially the horny man if he goes off the chain. So I think he could get a little bit more freedom, but I don't see him as a top 8 midfielder. Could he be playing down back? I'm not too sure. But again, I'm booking your Stewarts in probably, your Jack Sinclairs. So it's an option there, but currently a midfielder. Then you've got Jordan Dawson, so 530k at the moment. And this is the type of bloke I'm just putting on my watch list for now Because if he can get to 500k in a week or two, then that could be the bargain that I need just to start filling this midfield. And then if I'm able to, then go your Zach Butters. You've got your Bont we haven't even discussed, for example. You've got these couple of ruckmen I was talking about in Marshall and Gawn. Stewart's almost a lock. Then you go up to your Zach Merritt types, who that absolute quality you really want in your side. You've got LDU, who similar to someone, I suppose, like a Dawson. Remember what he did last year? Really came down in price and then boom, went off again. And lots of teams were looking to trade him in, went right up to the 600k mark. So he's on the watch list. You've got Sinclair there. And then you've obviously got the two rookies in Gross, or three rookies really, Sard and then Cleary. So, and then you've got Flanders, who's another defender as well. So there's so many options, and that's what I'm struggling with. The fact that I like lots of these defender options, but I'm a little bit unsure on the midfield. So I think the plan for me at the moment, there's 193,700. So the other thing, look, I'll quickly go to my notepad as well. So these are some of my plans for next week. So you've either got your Stewart, Rosie, Track, Warner, potentially Sard. If I don't go him next week, just pay up the extra cash. And then in regards to culling, well, this week you're looking at either your Moraes, Davidson, Henderson, I think, 2 out of the 3 this week. Pepper you're keeping until at least round 8. Kaka, I've talked about him. Trainer Reed, keep now. Good job security as well. Yeah, see, O'Connell at the moment, I'm probably just going to use as a bit of a loop, I think. Stone, yeah, for that DPP. Boyd's a hold. Hewitt hold for now. Hall's a hold for now, but see what happens there. And then your Lindsay, your Ashcroft, and your Bice, hold for as long as possible. Now, these are some of the blokes that may not be keepers. So you got your Chera, hold as last upgrade. Clary, as I said, hold for good run and reassessed. If poor against low quality, then flip. Marrick, keep until he drops an absolute stinker, and then he'll start to lose cash. At that point, that's when I'm going to get rid of him. Roberts depends on this performance for me. It really does depend on this performance. As you can see here, knows himself, watch like an absolute hawk. So it's tricky. So Moraes, Davidson, or Henderson, it's going to be this week, and it's going to be for Cleary and Gross. And then the next week, that's when I'm going to start to make some moves. So the issue is with Davidson playing the Saints, I think this is a good matchup for him. And given the fact that I may be that premium behind, I feel like keeping on to Davidson could be beneficial for me. Now, the break even at the moment, what are we sitting at? Yeah, around the 60 mark. Now, they're giving him a 71, but we've seen with Davidson, we've seen dungeons, and we've seen absolute top ceiling type game from him. So 71 is probably fair. Even if you can stay around the price, I think that's okay. You look at Moraes, and he's got a break even of 36. Now, based off the last couple of games, he's not making much more coin, is he? And who would I rather on field, Moraes or Davidson? I'd much rather go with Davidson. Henderson is an interesting one. If he doesn't get named this week, he's not actually losing cash. You could use him as a bit of a loop potentially, depending on the fixture and the schedule of matches. But if he does get named, surely it's got to be a subbed after that performance, and he's going to start to leak cash. Like, look at this break even, 55. He hasn't scored 55 since I've owned him. So he's probably the biggest concern for me. Then it's just a matter of, is it Moraes and you just back that with a lower break even, he could make a little bit more money because probably the next week he's gone anyway. 3 out of these 3 are going to be gone in 2 weeks, I assume. Definitely 2 out of 3 this week. So I'm struggling to know which is the best way to go about it. Now, I've already got, 190 odd K in the bank. So this is why, again, it may be silly not just to upgrade. I could go Roberts straight to Dacos with some DPP. Is that just what you do? Forget about the rookies. I don't think I can. I think I need to go the rookies. So I'm absolutely rambling here, I know. But we're going to get Henderson out. I think he just needs to go. And going to make a really simple trade here. And that's just to get, excuse me, that's just to get Gross in. So I think and I haven't traded anyone out. So Henderson. And then we're left with 247,100. So I'm just going to confirm that and get that one out of the way. Now, who do you go out of Cleary or Gross if you're only going the one? Oh, I didn't get to watch them. So you'll have to ask other people. I'm pretty much set on grabbing both of them. So for me, it's not really that comparison. The comparison isn't too important for me. And with the limited time I've had, I just haven't done it. I just know I'm getting both of them at this stage. So yeah, it's probably a question you have to ask other people. So that gets the bank close to 250K. Now, it's really tough. If I get Moraes out, then we can use a little bit of DPP and just say get Hewitt there. And then we get Cleary. And that's going to give us 324K in the bank, which is more than enough for at least one upgrade next week from Davidson. May not be enough for two. That's if I go Moraes out. I could also go Davidson, which is going to give me 416K. So do I back the fact that I think Davidson's going to give me more on-field points this week? Or do I look at the break-evens and say, well, Moraes has probably got more money to make? Yeah, so, sorry, you won't be able to see this on the screen, but just double-check the fixture here. So who plays first? So you got the Bulldogs and the Saints Sunday 7:20. And then you've got Port on the Sunday at 3:20. So we'll have information about Moraes anyway, about whether or not he's going to be the sub. So that could actually, that could be the basis of my decision. So if Moraes is sub, then I'll definitely get rid of him and hold on to Davidson. If not, yeah, we'll weigh things up. But I think for now, may just get rid of Moraes instead. Keep on to Davidson if I can. And go Cleary there and complete the trade. All right. So how's this going to leave me on field? Do you want Gross on field? Do you want Gross or Cleary? So Gross, Essendon at home, Cleary at home. Oh, and then you've got Kako. Like, surely Kako comes out with a good game, doesn't he? So I might do something along the lines of, might go Gross there, back him in. Maybe that. Now I need to change this, don't I? So O'Connell, I'll bring back for, might go with probably Sheasel, I think. Just get some DPP up there. And then Reed's playing here. O'Connell. Yep. If not, take Trainer's score. Yep, so that's all set up. I wish I could do more of the Hewitt loop, but I can't, can I? North, Carlton, Collingwood, Brisbane. I don't think it's worth looping Levi, is it? Probably not. Rucks, and then we haven't got any loops here, so it's definitely Davidson you want here. Cleary versus Power Pepper. Well, after the big man got me a ton last week, I'm just going to leave it there, I think, for now. So that's probably how I'm rolling. Now, captain, vice captain. Jerry. Okay, so who am I really trusting these days? McRae against the Dogs. That could be a really interesting one. I reckon he's going to get up and about for that Jack McRae. Potentially McRae against the Dogs. Chalky. Look, as a vice captain, maybe against Collingwood, do they put time into him? Or do you go Zorks against Collingwood at the Gabba Thursday night? Against Adelaide. Do you know what? I might go with one of the Lions boys tonight. Just get it out of the way. Let's just go Zorko for now. I have not researched any of these numbers. Melbourne versus Freo. Do they start to tag Bray now after this run that he's had? Potentially. Essendon West Coast. See, if I was to get a Zero or someone in this week, it'd be so nice. Chuck the captaincy on him. Yeah, gee, there's a lack of captain options, I think. So, gee, he's got Dale against St Kilda as a real pod. No way you'd go there, though. I think I'm just going to go either Chocky or Zorks into Brayshaw this week. Yeah, I just don't have the confidence here. I'd love to go McRae, but just don't have the confidence at the moment. So I think that is it, guys. So basically strategy from now on. These are the blokes on the watch list. I've got 324K in the bank. So that's an easy... Look, if I'm even sick of Stone, that's an easy Stone to Stewart, which would be a really nice upgrade. Petrarca, possibly. I could just get Nicky D in or Zach Merritt in. Yeah, these are probably the most likely options, and I'm really, really keen to watch Rosie with my own eye just to make sure he's playing this halfback role again. And if he looks good, I know I'm paying up. I'd rather just pay up. Same as O'Hooley as well. No, he's been the sub the first couple of weeks, but if he's looking good, may even pay up next week. Hey, could you boost? There's a world, but I want to try to save them. So staying disciplined, just doing the double down this week. It will hurt me with this week's round score, but I'm hoping long-term that it's going to set me up. So thanks again, guys. Much love to everyone that sent me a message and tried to get in contact. Really appreciate you guys. Be sure to check out Game Day Squad. Remember, enter that code word peanut when you first sign up and verify $20 worth of free cards. I think the boys will come out most likely tonight with the Thursday night live teams. That'll be Scobes, maybe Joshy, and potentially Verns as well. Shout out to all those legends. And then we'll definitely be back. Sunday night live. We'll be back. Few rages. We'll have some fun there. And then pretty much back to usual schedule after this week. So thanks again, guys. Much love. All the best with your trade ins, with your trade outs. Have a open week. I'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers. Bye.